Hi, traders. It's 11 a.m. Eastern time, and it's that hour where Mike and I get together and bat around the ball, talking about the market. A nice 2-day rally we're having here, Mike.
There is, Coach. When
And
the market has no memory, when you least expect it.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it as relief. I just want to touch on a few points. We must have gotten some weak economic data because I've been looking for a top in the end. I'm not sure if this was it. And yesterday in my stream, I talked about I thought yields had peaked, and the 10-year came off another 5.5 bips. And I said, before the NFP, if they sell TLT off, that it might be a good contrarian buy, because this is what happened in the last week. The 10-year, if I go to a weekly, made a new high in yields, right? Look at this. Okay, we took out the October high. TLT held the prior low. So to me, that's the long end is showing some relative strength. I don't know if it's going to, but for months people have been talking about how offsides and how there are record short positions in the bonds. So Mike got bored with that segment. I do want to talk a little bit about the S&Ps. So
I had to let Tony Pistachio out, or else there would be more than being bored.
Okay, so I wanted to show this S&P chart. This rally right here that we're getting, to me, looks like what we had last week was A, and then we had that pullback last week, and here we are back around the highs. Yeah. This 4,500 level is 61.8 back, and I'd be looking to sell a rip into that. I don't know if you're looking to do any selling in the next couple of days. I'm not in the new high camp from this low. I think that what we had this is a correction of that decline that I think will complete here, and that we have at least another wave like this into November. So to me, this is an opportunity to sell.
I'm trying to.
Okay, and maybe some short positions. I want to ask you about it. I did put on a short in silver in the room today, 20 right here. Gold may have a little bit more left in it. And this was something a few weeks ago. I like silver, the 22.5 level for a move to 24, but I'm risking the highs over 25 for a potential high, because I think a lot of this is just some interest rate relief and dollar relief. And look,
Coach, it's a shortened week. This is it, it's Labor Day.
People can move.
Adult market cliche may apply. Dressing up the books a little bit towards the end of the month.
Month end, good point.
Low volume applies.
Good point.
Record positioning in all these mega caps. It's a little dangerous going to a shortened thin week at record highs. Go ahead, I apologize.
I know. I mean, that's what I said about the yen. I don't know if it's a high because it's happening this week. And I have a philosophy that, don't be afraid of missing anything, because almost everything you want to do now, if the move starts to get away from you, the money will come back in if they want to get short and generate a rally so they could lay on their shorts, or take it down so they could buy it at more attractive levels. So I'm there. And I just want to show a real classic case of technical analysis keeping you in the trade. I don't know if it's for the good or for the bad, but I talked about this head and shoulders pattern in the British pound, and we had a breakdown last week, and I said you have to risk a close, not an intraday move, a close back over the neckline around 2630, and it tried to do it Friday after the breakdown on Jackson Hole, on the comments from
which it had a chance. If it was going to do it, it had a chance because of the news.
And today,
yes,
today they spiked it too. Whatever the news was, it was weak economic data. And look, they poked it again. So if you're using intraday stops or a daily breakdown, you have the wrong formula. You could use an intraday stop, but not play it right here, maybe, above a moving average. But you won't, the signal was on the close, and negating the signal, you need a close. So you got to stay with the short side of the pound, even though the dollar, most people are very bullish now, Mike. That's
I
there's
agree.
been
I posted that in the room. True.
okay. All right. So there's been a little shift here. But those are my takes. I'm sure that you use this bounce in GFI to get
I have
flat.
it. I have having six. I had six figures of it. I have 12,000 shares left.
All right. So it did a little bit more than fill the gap, but I'm not impressed.
What would you do when I had, I faced an 1120 to
Exactly. You're like
1286?
I consider myself fortunate that I had a recovery into the gap.
I can't. That was a fortunate recovery.
That's what. So I
Yes,
would have been selling. Yeah. You
that
know
is
what?
correct. I don't care if it goes back to 14. I won't flinch.
Yeah. Preserve capital, and you had a chance to do it. I
Next,
actually think the banks are a short on this rally. I think some of the techs are a short on this rally. The
I put a little
semis
bit.
might be. So I'm turning it over to you now, Mike. 4,500 is kind of like my key level in the S&Ps for whenever they get there. And we do have NFP on Friday.
No, that's going to be
That's
bigger than people think. Well, I don't
in
people and bigger than people think. I'm not, really wanting to know what people are
in a
thinking.
thin environment. It's going to be could be wild.
It's going to be a reason to do things that normally that you might. This is where people. This is where funds and people take advantage of these situation, coach, to get out of things. GFI should have never bounced like that.
They're just they shop for stops during these environments. They could push it to wherever liquidity is. That's what they're doing.
Such a professional and an awareness move. I don't expect anything less. But for anybody's listening, it's not just sometimes all bit there is a psychology. It's not just all about pivots and volume. You have to think a little bit outside the box. And for example, when Coach gave that example of that close of the British pound, right, Coach?
Yeah.
That was a perfect example for many reasons. We always say that it will hold true that the pros look at how they close, not really so much the range. If you want to really take a hard position, because the risk is overnight, and that was where the money would flow to. People have time to think about what's going on throughout the day. Overnight, when day trading just it gets to be a little bit wild, and sometimes I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm being facetious, but there's some truth to that. But it's the point being with Coach, it's really about the close, and it's about that way too. So Coach said, well, until I get to some of my things, Coach said, am I sharing the screen?
Yes, you are now.
Coach said a lot of things. Maybe technology is a short. I happen to agree that I'm taking some off. I'm certainly not starting. Hold on, I'll share in a second. Initiating any new positions here. I do believe that a couple of shorts are a couple of longs are crowded, and I'll get back to this in a second. Let me sign into TradeGATEHub. And it's more about awareness, because if you don't know your style, especially when things are moving like this during this type of week on thinner volume, you have to be professional and really know what you're doing. And I'll make a point to this right now as I'll start through here. Just when people post, I have to keep retracing. All right, so I love when I woke up this morning and everybody starts trading. They have great ideas, including you, Coach. S&P 500. Let's see if we break out of the channel. We are in a head and shoulders, Coach, correct, on the composite. It depends on your posture. How I wouldn't be using this as an exact gauge, because this is kind of this is a clear, crowded chart. And just as Coach alluded to, it might not be that clean if it goes against you, if it breaks that proverbial head and shoulders. So in this type of week, exactly, a thinner one, you have to go in things lightly and get your prices. I always
wait, right now you play small ball.
Well, like this is it. Okay, it's a holiday weekend.
Small ball.
It's what, Labor Day? All cars, this is a time when cars are on sale. It's like a thinner week in the market. Don't go and buying a car on Labor Day and see that a car is 70,000 and say, you know what, I'll pay 80,000 instead. Same thing with prices here. Don't do that with your prices. Don't be a pro. You have to be accountable for what you do. And in this type of market where there's a lot of these moves, example with the pound, and even something like a Tesla.
Oh, I see. The number that moved it was there was a jobs number. Job openings fell for the third consecutive month.
Correct.
So maybe that's a tell on the NFP Friday, and yields are dropping.
That's thinking outside the box as well.
And you know what? Everyone knows I was, you know, a yield bull. That yield, you know, rates were going up, and the charts just told me that we're rolling over here in
Correct.
the yield. So, and the end should be next. They're
But you know what,
they're pretty correlated.
Coach, you said the same thing. The charts told you. You didn't have an opinion.
Yeah.
And you know how it's harder to break an opinion than a bad habit. You know, the opinions can get, it's very difficult to trade. But, you know, I want to point something else again. Hedge fund exposure did 7 big tech stocks at record high, Goldman says. And that was FX hedge. And I also posted through bar chart. And I didn't want to, you know, it's not really I really don't like repeating things, but I just want everybody to know the trust the process and the data that we put out. And not that I'm saying this, that there hasn't been even a sign of any mistrust. I just want people to understand this isn't necessarily my process. This is data that the pros in TradeGATEHub and Coach uses predicated upon sentiment, option flow, obviously momentum, and things like that. And by the way, this is some of the thinking maybe being outside the box as everybody's loaded the boat and you know, and on their rafts going into Labor Day and coming into this head and shoulders resistance, some things bouncing on low volume, sans maybe or a Google or Nevada, which by the way makes up one of those 7 tech stocks. You know, there might be some false things underneath, and I wouldn't get too giddy because there are a lot more negative signs at this moment than positive signs, if I can give my opinion. I don't think I'm wrong or I'm alone there, but I'll move on. Another one, here's Kramer, and I just posted it right after that. All the mega caps except Google and NVIDIA, the 2 best ones out there, somewhat of a crowded trade I'm certainly not stepping in front of it. I'll go to the charts in a second. Besides Google and Nevada, all the other ones are basically the same chart. And let me go to a couple of charts here, being Google, which by the way is taking a tremendous amount of option flow for weeks now, as it should. What's wrong with Google right here? What are you going to do there? You know what I mean?
I don't see it.
Oh, hold on. Held the gap.
I don't see the chart.
All right, hold on.
There we go. All right, there it is. Okay.
Google.
Yeah, you're right.
Ultimate compliment. Even held the gap when the Nasdaq was breaking down. NVIDIA naturally, I mean, that's still not hit a new high yet, but whatever.
Yeah,
but the
it looks
other
like it wants another one.
Microsoft is still, there you go, Microsoft.
That's a sell candidate on a rally.
That's
correct.
So
is that.
That is correct. And that's why it's a false statement saying it's you know, it is basically NVIDIA and Google holding things up as the holding pattern, like Kramer says, there's a couple of other tech stocks that are holding up. But there are a lot. I mean, you can go across the, hold on.
AMD, I'd sell the bounce in AMD.
Well, that's what I'm saying. AMD is well off the high. What are you going to do to a Square? You know what I mean? I'm not going to buy first day up on Square. There could be a reversion to a reversion to mean trade, but I'm certainly not going to go in here at PayPal or anything. Cisco, yes, it's obvious it's hitting a 52-week high. That's been a stock that's been on the 52 high list for a week now. You know, they tried to do the proverbial shakeout with some volume. And once it took back that closing, once it broke above that closing, that day's close, and that was a chance to get in it again. So there's a lot of different.
You want to see a muted recovery? Look at the Russell IWM.
Yeah.
And the shoulder here would come in around those moving averages. Take a look at the regional bank index. They actually have a gap above it. I'd love to sell a rally back around 45, 46. I'm looking for new lows.
I'd sell around 47. You're probably not going to get there. I'd sell 47 and a half. That's where that gap is. I think 47 and a half on a heavily traded ETF like the KRE is a nice option price strike. So although I wouldn't, for a macro picture, I certainly wouldn't be dancing or I wouldn't be begging for pennies, but that would be an optimal price for me. I might miss it, but I'm
Yeah.
certainly going to look to what coach's price is because his opinion holds.
Yeah, there's a gap, I think, at 45 or 46 if you
Okay.
lower your time frame.
Yeah.
But that's a candidate too. XLF, similar, maybe a little stronger pattern, but it looks ugly too.
The
That's
charts, the one
Goldman
that was
still
taking
looks
some
ugly.
option flow, and I debated taking it last night. Hold on a second. Share was let me get into the correct, was Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley was taking so flow. Then I looked at it. I'm like, all right, I might miss it. You know, it broke down to that down to it broke the down channel, or
Yeah.
at least for a little bit. You know, it's above the proverbial short day moving average of the 10-day. I did. It's at 85. I just didn't see I didn't see any juice.
No.
The option close was
Maybe at 87, I'd sell
all
it,
right.
or
So, you know,
88.
$85 stock eats a lot of buying power to make $2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. But that is a heavy formation with all the touches near
True.
81. Under 81, it has problems. So
Okay, here you go. This was odd. This is psychology. I side noted, by the way, Bitcoin trading volume hit its lowest level in almost 5 months. Obviously, the news that came out, everything exploded. Coins up 20%. So that's something. VIX volatility, that's self-explanatory. Stage analysis, self-explanatory. This is from the Jesus feed. I can't take compliment. This is what he says. This week could very well remain of the quiet side with light activity of the holiday. You don't have to be a 30-year trader to know that. I'd be careful trading much strength in the indexes, but we could continue to look for snapback squeezes happening. Single names probably better to look for, even if this week. Listen, that's a high level opinion of mine, and that's how I'm going to play it. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I concur with Jesus.
Short-term sentiment, okay, big deal. Bank of America flows, economic data, Paul posting sentiments we had. Tesla Island reversal worked very well today. It's up $10. Carvana was negative at one point. It was up 2. Posting the charts that I think are relevant this kind of slower week. I'm posting stocks that are moving. Tesla, Carvana. You know, I'm not picking the bottom in Citicorp, and I might not even play Morgan Stanley, like I said, but the Qs. Pardon me. What else did I say here? Really have to go through the verbiage of the vernacular that I wrote. I don't have time to go through it now. I said Google's the one. VFS, I'm not going to get into VFS. You should be in the room. But Google was the one in taking option flow for days. BBY, I'm still in it. I'm not going to lie. Where is it? All right, BBY.
I watched The Big Short again last night.
Oh, did you so? And look at you.
Huh?
Look at you. With like Bud Fox with a thing of chopsticks and some Chinese food in the takeout canister.
No, didn't you see The Big Short?
Yeah,
it was about the mortgage crisis.
Of course I did.
All right. What's his name? Steve Carell did a great job.
Actually, he did.
He didn't want to sell. He didn't want to sell right before they were going to do the rescue package. He finally let it go.
But they at least should have let me try out, because if you're in that position, my reaction would have been real life. I mean, he had to fake what it was. I mean, I bit. You know what I mean?
Let's make a movie.
No.
Oh, we are. Okay. Anyway, what do you want to wrap it with? We're trying to make something out of nothing on a holiday week.
That was my GFI exit at the gap. That was my price, that solid green line.
All right.
Next. All right. So what am I going to do? Let's go. Listen, coach, I'm not going to give an opinion. Let's do this. Let's go option flow, CTA positioning. I'll post this afterwards. They are underweight in silver as silver goes up. Interesting. Palladium, no interest. Palladium, crude. They're basically even. Crude, they're even. Let's go to futures. Futures, they're even in. If you see this, hold on. The minis right here, they're basically even with the market. S&Ps, they're basically even a little bit. Nat gas, they're way underweight. If gas, they must be short a lot of natural gas.
Yeah. They're starting to get long heating oil, seasonal.
Very good, coach. I mean, this is part of the heat. This is part of the map. Yep. I mean, it's not the only tool, but if you sit down and eat a meal, this is like maybe the pepper shaker. You know what I mean? This is a condiment. Let's go. Coin, obviously, here's a top bull sweeps today. Snow is pointed by Alex for the past week. Thank you. Google needs no introduction. Nevada. So that, listen, they're smart. On a day like today, sans a couple of, other ones, they're trading Caterpillar, Snow, Google, Nevada, and Creme. Those are the big daddies.
Yep.
GLD bullish going into November. Interesting. Apple bullish. Coin obviously bullish. Let's look at a couple of movers today.
They're still buying those golds. There's still sweeps on the long side of gold. I might be wrong this time.
I'm okay with it. Like I said, I'm okay if GFI goes to 14. I have other things to concentrate on. There's the moving coin. Is it a one-day wonder? There it is. It came back down. Then a spring. Then it's like a beach ball underwater with news.
Yeah, it must be alt season.
No, well, maybe it was. Here's Mara. Nobody wanted a 1050. You turn around 1320. That's incredible. What happened here? My relative strength index is lost. Here we go. Here's Mara. All right. So that's what's going on here. How about PDD? Last time I was short this one. Remember, Coach? PDD had numbers. I don't think it's going to be reversed. Last time PDD had numbers, it was where? Right down here. And this is it today. PDD, no signs of stopping.
Yeah, it's not giving it up.
Once it had the opening range breakout of 89 to 91, next up was 96. There's PDD stock of the day. Oh, BABA, JD.
China's doing some things to try and prop up their market.
Well, I wanted to show you this. This is why I posted this morning, if I will. Let me finish with TradeGATEHub. I know I want to share a screen right here if you can see. I posted this morning, the irony. It was almost like the market had no memory. That's what made me start that cliche off with this webcast. And it's right here. It's about China. Yeah. When I first posted this morning, because I wanted everybody, to not get stubborn and be aware of what's going on. China is right here.
Just remember their thinking is not like the central banks here.
No,
they don't look for monetary policy to work in a month.
Much like a coin or something, or much like the VIX. This is what I posted this morning. China's stocks are trading at their lowest level relative to the S&P since 2001. All right. So you know what? If I look at this relative to these China stocks here, which are basically pinned on the low, then I look at maybe a long-term chart on BABA. Maybe I have to think about it now. FUTU had relieved China the financial restrictions. Look at this one.
Wow.
The other one that goes with it too, the small one, TIGR, Tiger. I knew about this. I don't know. This kept going. This was a no-brainer, and it's still going up. Tiger. So anyway, some of the small stocks are starting to squeeze on this slow week. For example, I have a ton of this NNOX, first day up 860. Carvana having a good day again, now above move, something like an Upstart, if you will, having a great day coming out of believe me, it's up 10%. AI having a nice move up first day up. So there are some movers here. I'll go to my main screen, if you will, right here. 60. Where am I? I don't want to cover up my stuff. I'm sorry. It's egregious. So here's my charts right here. Some stocks, TTD, Nevada, SMCI. Let me go to my chart. Hold on. SMCI, first day up, coming to resistance. Meta, first day up, coming to resistance. Tesla acting well now. Roku, MU, Intel was dead a couple of days ago.
Skype.
What's that?
We see your Skype and your background.
I apologize.
It's okay.
I'm not. Carvana, a Planeteer bouncing, a Riven, which, by the way, I couldn't believe it wasn't going. Riven wasn't going so much, whereas it should have been going, and it just had, as the NASDAQ was having a little bounce here, Riven wasn't going. So I'm like, you know what? I have a nice long-term position. Now it goes. It held on the 200-day. Now it's scrolling up, volume coming in. So Riven, now I'm back in business. Coin, Array. How could you argue with this? Array. This is one of the better acting stocks out there. It broke out of the flag with volume. It acted great, taking a huge ton of option volumes. I'm actually getting a little hoarse from saying it so much. And I've been scaling out of it a little bit, been buying it back, selling it, buying it back. But bottom line is, in a 2-day range, the stock has gone from 22 to 25. I'm trading a lot of it, trust me. So I'm in it. Relative strength. It almost
So it
looks like a
looks good.
Cisco array.
Looks like a flag. It's not done. Yeah.
I
okay.
agree. So it almost looks like a Cisco. Same thing. So you know what? I don't know what to do. DraftKings, Airbnb now.
Well, like
First
you
day
say,
up.
Mike, it's about stock picking.
It is.
Forget
It
the
is.
averages, unless
Home
you're me.
Depot,
I
Baidu
trade.
now looking phenomenal. Mara, Mara's up $2.50, man. That's taking out, if you're buried in this week for a month, 1 month move, it's wiping out in a 1 month move in 1 day. 1 month.
That's a tell.
VRT, bastard. That's it. Jay went Fastly, another one. This was another stock right here. The shake and bake, it broke out of the range. 1 day delay, held. Now it's Fastly. The stock is, you have to, the reason why you have to know about it has it in it. What it has it in it is you want to be in a stock that has a little bit of punch to it. We all know Cisco is a snail and it's like Oracle. It moves, but this thing is weekly. It was $150. You know, whatever, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. So Fastly, very clean trade, broke out, tried to do the back and fill it, 1 day delayed after a big move. Then it took off again. It's in the group with Cisco. Alex is posting that these stocks in the room of stocks that are trading 52-week highs. And it's no different. You know, the 52 high list is okay. Caterpillar. Now the guys are buying Caterpillar right here. Now the huge options going off on Caterpillar. I'm not going to lie.
Okay. All right. Well, as you can see, if you're watching us right now, Mike has a huge universe of stocks that he trades, and they change a lot too. There, some come in, some go out, but huge universe. So lots of trade selection for you guys to make, just following what Mike does every day. Makes me a little dizzy, but maybe you're younger, you could handle it. So,
well, this is
how do you want to? How do you want
hold
to
on a
wrap
second. It's okay if it makes you dizzy, Coach, because
Is
the
it?
best amenity we have at TradeGATEHub, sponsored by TradeView Markets, is this. I'm going to log in just so everybody can see it. So no excuses if I'm fast and furious. Because you know what? I may be contradictory because it's all about quality and not quantity about TradeGATEHub. But you go to our YouTube channel and you very simply play it back right here. This is what I did a day ago. Play it back. You missed a segment, pause it, get your notebook back and write down what
You're
I'm
right.
doing.
Yeah, I mean, all of these people can learn from. All they have to do is take the time and make the effort to listen and watch, and they will come away with a lot of pearls.
All right, percent losers the last 15 minutes. All right, how about this? Percent gainers the last 60 minutes. What's moving? All right, this ICCT. Obviously, you don't know that it trades 100,000 shares a day. It's already traded 19 million. It's up 200%. It's obviously a low floater. Mara already mentioned it. Riot mentioned it. CLSK, everybody should know what it does because it goes with it. How about the most actives for the day? This is your treasure map. This is your playbook on top of the data that's coming out in the earnings today. NIO, there's no surprise. It's Tesla brought it up. Mara already mentioned it. Nevada mentioned it. AMD, we mentioned it. PDD, we mentioned it. I already mentioned Planet here. Riot. So maybe I'm fast and furious, but I'm not obscure. I'm all around it. You know what I mean? Nothing attracts a crowd like a crowd. I'm not like the guy on. I'm not trying to build a flux capacitor here and not trying to throw a Hail Mary pass. We're doing concrete stuff that my peers and myself use.
Thanks for sharing again today, buddy.
You're welcome. Thank you for listening. Anybody has any questions about anything, email me, get in the room. I'm obviously not shy. I respect your time, whether it's 1 or 1,000 people that watch this. So if you take the time to ask me a question, I'm humbled and I'll do my best to get back to you, not only ASAP, but as accurately as I can.
Hang out with Mike and learn. And don't just count your pips, count your blessings. TradeGATEHub is on Friday, I'd say TGIF. Thank God I found TradeGATEHub.
Thanks for narrating, Coach, and leading me to a direction and allowing these proper macro segues for my preparations and my plan to be actually come out almost innately. So thank you for making.
In our case, Mike, 1 + 1 = 11.
Yeah. And you know what? By the amount of views we're getting and the almost 3,100 subscribers now, numbers don't lie. And we take that very seriously. And like I said, I do it anyway out of honor. No matter how many views we get, we give it 100% every time.
Yeah, you should look at some of the comments. Some people go, "I'm so glad I found this YouTube channel."
Well, good. We're gonna
Anyway,
listen.
I'm glad to add value.
We are, Coach. So I
All right,
appreciate
buddy.
that. Everybody,
Adios.
have a plan, trade well. Listen, it's a slower week, but there's always something to do. There's always something to do. It's how you do it. So be prudent, stick to a plan, and we'll see you a little bit later. Got to be in the room.